Well, yeah, but it's on the elevator music.
So they can't
Uh,
hear us?
yeah, they can hear us. They
Oh,
can hear us, but all right, hey guys, welcome back to the Tac City live stream. This is the Tac City Tech Department. Today, it's Kevin. All right, I'm gonna be streaming here today with you guys. Um, Today, we're just gonna be going over the customs that we have so far in round three, so to speak. This is our third go around, kind of, with some customs. Last week we spoke about downgrades and we were working on some customer projects. I hope you guys liked that stream. If you were in it, wasn't too much going on. But between then and now, we've actually come up with a lot of stuff for the new custom line that we're going to have up here in the tech department for you guys to check out. Um, Whether you guys want to buy or just get ideas for your build, that's the whole purpose here. But anyways, before we get started, I just want to let you guys know, Tac City Tech Department, we are open 7 days a week, full service, AG, GBB, HBA, anything you want us to do, we can probably do it. Just come speak to us. We're open 7 days a week when the field is open. So if you're curious about our hours, you can look at our field hours. If the field is open for play, Tech Department is going to be open 7 days a week. If you guys have any questions and you guys aren't able to make it by, give us a call, ask for the tech department. You can also email us at taccitytech@taccityairsoft.com. That'll be in the description of this stream, and that should be in the descriptions of all the other tech videos. There is a tech playlist now on the YouTube, so if you guys want to check out what we've been up to so far in 2023, please go check that tech playlist out, run the views up. Other than that, though, we're just going to hop straight in. Today, I got in front of me one of the upcoming custom projects that will be put up for sale here in the tech department, most likely. This is a very special kind of project for me and Garrett both. This will probably be mainly Garrett's project, but this gun has some history, and I kind of want to go over that with you guys. If you guys are familiar with the Extremetronics DSG, right? This is kind of the prototype of that. For those of you that don't know, I used to work at Extremetronics a very long time ago, and a couple of friends of mine and friends of Garrett's did work there a long time ago as well. That shop is no longer around, unfortunately, but this was one of the guns that was in our possession at the shop. This belonged to, I believe, the head tech at the time at Extremetronics, along with another tech named Cameron. Some of you guys might know him. If you know, you know on that one. But belonged to those two in the old tech office at Extremetronics. The history on this gun, basically, which is kind of ironic, as I flip this over, is you can see the history starts Tac City. So this actually used to be a Tac City rental, maybe about, I want to say, 5 years ago at this point. This was a Tac City high performance rental at one point. because here at Tac City, a majority of our high-performing rentals are going to be Crytacs. They're easy to work on. You know, they've been our go-to for high performance for quite a number of years. We actually strayed away from that. So there's a record of us using Crytacs, you know, a long proven track record with these, but we've moved on to like Lycema Platinums and Arcturus as more brands are coming out. But the strongest guns, in my opinion at least, still on that rental wall are these Crytacs. I mean, this gun was from like 2019 and it's still alive. Like the receiver, everything is still here. So this gun was originally a TC rental. At some point or another, I believe one of the employees at Extremetronics around the time I was working there actually purchased it or got their hands on it, and it came into our possession over there. What was done to it originally at the time, Crytacs were, I wouldn't say fairly new. They were new. They had been out a while, but there was still speculation as to what you could actually do to one. There was still a lot of debate on the forums about how certain pistons would fit in the shell, certain MOSFETs would fit, right? At the time, I believe Jeftron, the Leviathan, I don't believe that existed at the time that this gun was built, just to give you an idea of how old it actually is. The only MOSFET that really existed at the time was the Gate Titan, right? The Gate Aster had not come out yet. So this was before a Gate Aster. Like, that's just to put it in perspective. Because now we know that you can take a Gate Aster and drop it into a Crytac. Well, we didn't really have that option back then. It was either a Gate Titan or a BTC, with the BTC being just as somewhat difficult to install as the Titan into a Crytac. So I believe the head tech at Tronics dropped the Titan into it first. And then later down the line came the Max Trigger and the modification on the receiver for that to fit properly. The Mark 18 rail also came along the line a couple of years ago when it was in the possession of that tech at Extremetronics. All the externals and everything like that came along the line. What we're actually doing right now with this gun, just kind of off topic, is since it's been in the shop, this outer barrel is quite wobbly. Before I actually started the stream, we were actually trying to get this MOX suppressor off so that we could take the rail off and add some barrel washers. But that may be a project for off screen, as one, I believe we do not have the right barrel washers, the sizing that we want at the moment. And then number two, this MOX suppressor is kind of stuck on here. I've tried using a strap wrench, and for those of you that don't know what that is, strap wrench is highly useful. It is one of these, right? It allows you to take like these, cans and everything like that off. This is kind of what they're meant to be used with. So I would recommend picking up a strap wrench if you haven't already for those suppressors that are just difficult to take off, or you accidentally over tighten it, right? It's a good way to get them off without stripping your threads or cross threading them. So get yourself a strap wrench. But anyways, before the stream actually started, me and Garrett were messing around with the rail and the suppressor. This rail will not come off without the suppressor being removed because of how it's held in. The suppressor was fine, but I believe it may have gotten seized up. So we're working on getting that off with the strap wrench and some heat. But once we get that off, we're going to tighten this Mark 18 rail down. That's really all that needs to be done to it at the moment. But moving along with the rest of the gun, externals aside, right, and a Gate Titan, at the time, no one was really doing DSGs in Crytacs. I believe OC Airsoft was dabbling in it. OC Airsoft had a couple Crytac pre-builds, you might want to call it, at the time. But no one else was really doing it, and no offense to OC, but the pricing on their stuff was kind of high. And being that we worked at an airsoft shop, it became a battle of not if we should. It's like, hey, I can put a DSG in this. Screw it, let's try it and see what happens, right? Well, the result of that is a Crytac 1801 SHS DSG with the SHS piston, G&G 25K motor, paired with the Titan. I do not know what spring is in here currently, to be honest with you guys. It's been 5 years. I do not remember what Ramon put in there, but I'm going to test fire it. So here I've got two DSG batteries. Some of you might wonder the difference in batteries and stuff like that, so just a really quick crash course before I test fire this. These are going to differ from your normal everyday like 20C 1000 milliamp hour LiPo. If you guys are unfamiliar with the terminology on that, there's plenty of battery videos for airsoft out there. 5-minute video, watch one of those real quick. It'll get you up to speed on the terminology and differences in types of batteries. But generically, there's nickel metal hydride and then LiPo. These are LiPos, just much bigger ones. This is a RC car LiPo. It's a 5500 50C 11.1. The reason you need such a big battery is to pull something like this, like a DSG. What a DSG is essentially is you are having the cycle time. There's 2 sets of teeth instead of that 1 set of teeth on your sector gear. So because of that, you have to have a much beefier spring to pull that at that rate of fire. You need a big battery to back that up, because if I use like a 1300 or an 1120C, sure, it'll fire, but that battery will die pretty quick because the gun's going to be drawing a lot of power. But that explanation aside, we're going to be testing this DSG with a 50C 11.1 today. Got the Gate Titan in it. The gun is clear. I did clear it off stream before we started. This is how it sounds. Bit of overcycle. And then here's auto. I probably just blew out some of their drums in the stream. Sorry. Wear headphones for best experience. Yeah, so a bit of overcycle there. That's going to take some adjusting on the Gate Titan app, but outside of that, that is how that fires. Now, if you hear that and that sounds familiar to you, you might kind of laugh, because if I recall, there was a video made by Extremetronics a couple years ago when this gun was built. The video was titled AG or HPA, and it was just a 30-second clip of this gun firing on semi at SC Village, and the video kind of went viral. I don't know if you could call it viral, but got a lot of views in the airsoft community, and a lot of people actually chose HPA. No, the noise that it makes is unique to the set of parts that was used on this build. So, you know, it does sound like a Polar Star, definitely. It's got that like K-Tech amplifier, little poppy sound. But like I said, this is in the progress of getting built right now. I believe this is a build that Garrett will be taking over. Garrett will be either choosing to redo the externals, but I believe he has intentions of leaving it whole and maybe just adding on and touching it up so that it's ready for field use again.
I mean, it's a classic.
Yeah.
How could I change it?
Yeah.
Use a stock though.
So yeah, we do need a stock for it, because it did come to us missing a stock. I have no idea what happened to the stubby stock that was on this 4 years ago. So
We're going to try to get all over black one.
yeah, so. But anyways, that is the DSG. Like I said, that is our really honestly like favorite build right now. This has some history behind it. It's in a solid body, solid gearbox. It honestly has not seen much use. We're gonna get inside of it and probably, you know, clean it up before we put it on the wall. But even when the gun was in Extremetronics possession, this gun did not see quite a lot of use. This was more of a show gun. The guys would take it out to events, have it at the booth as a show gun, really. And it was used at the field maybe 3 times a year, and not really abused. But it can take abuse, right? So, because it was built really well. So, we're gonna refurbish that and get that on the wall.
Yeah, the other ET DSGs have proven as much, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I watched one of our old friends build one on his lunch break. So, I mean, Crytac DSGs have always been the kind of meta, so to speak. I mean, there's guys still doing it. I know Logic Airsoft has been doing it. Pretty much any other tech that you can name on Instagram has done a Crytac DSG at some point or another, or tried to. The theory behind it, for people in the chat that may be more enlightened to the teching world, the theory behind it, you know, Crytac shells are relatively pretty solid out of the factory. You don't have to worry about them breaking under like a high rate of fire, high stress like build, and their gears are actually not bad. The SHS DSG is also one of the only sector gears that will drop into the Crytac aftermarket sector gears, so to speak. If you guys don't know already, you cannot do any like SHS like 12-to-1s, your standard SHS 12-to-1 gears that you can get at like any of your local airsoft shops. That will not drop into a Crytac, but the SHS DSG sector gear will drop in. It's sized properly. So, anyways, this build overview is pretty much done. We're gonna put that aside. I'm gonna pull up the next custom build that actually is mine, and I'm gonna go over that and show it off because it's better. Shout out Garrett.
You just said that one's better.
Yeah, I did say this one's better.
The OG, okay.
So this one is a VFC Avalon, as you guys can see. I'm gonna take a sip of my Red Bull here because my mouth is quite dry.
Not sponsored.
If you bring us Red Bull or caffeine, we will help you out. We will still charge you for labor, though. Anyways, this is a VFC Avalon that we got our hands on. Pretty basic build. It looks complex on the outside, but let me take the magazine out before I do anything. This build wasn't very in-depth in terms of internals, for those of you that are curious. I try to keep this one kind of more casual friendly. I didn't really go and do like a MOSFET and like gears or anything crazy like that for many reasons, to be honest. The first reasoning behind that, I wanted this gun to be more of a casual kind of field gun, right? Something you can take out to a public play, either here at Tac City, N1, HSP, SC. You can take this almost anywhere, right, and be able to run it. And it's going to be reliable, it's going to be efficient, it's not going to get hot, and it'll be fast enough to keep up with pretty much all the high-speed builds out there. All the guys that are running gears, you know, 12-to-1s with 25K and a Titan, right? This will keep up with that, or it'll at least put up a fight, right? The general sense of it is pretty basic. I'm going to start from the front here. So we got the Noveske KX5 Tracer. So this is actually it doubles as a tracer. It's a Noveske amplifier, and then right on top of that we got a PEC 15 riding with the pressure pad right behind it. And then you got a Magpul MOE Repro style grip, right? And it's mounted in a position where I meant for this to be C-clamped, right? I want this to be C-clamped. It's got a Troy Battle Axe TRX. I believe this is a 9-inch. Yeah, this is a 9-inch. And everything's set up so that you're able to C-clamp and really hit that pressure pad on your PEC 15, right? And that has light laser combo, whatever you need for night games. Up top here, I'm riding with the Avengers T1. You can't go wrong with this. It's a very simple red dot, right? There's nothing special about these Aimpoint T1s. If you guys have been playing for any amount of time, a good optic, a quality optic is really necessary, especially if you're playing outdoors. These Aimpoint Avengers, like reproduction T1s, pretty much the best optic that money can buy, in my opinion, in terms of bang for buck, right? These are not too expensive at most of your local airsoft shops. As long as it's the repro and not the actual aim point, because an actual aim point is probably, going to be really high in price, right? I mean, just to give you perspective, real EOTechs are probably like $600 or $700, which is ridiculous. Please don't go and put a real sight on your airsoft gun. Like, if you're Gucci like that, go for it. I mean, but you're gonna get that sight shot out at some point, and I would rather break a $30 Chinese replica, right? That works almost just as good, rather than break like a $700 real firearm optic. Like that would suck. Right behind that, we've got the stock VFC Avalon iron sights, and then everything else on it, receiver-wise, selector and all that, is stock VFC Avalon, right? As far as the back end of the gun goes, we've got a PTS Enhance polymer stock, right? This is for battery space. You're going to need to be running a pretty decent sized battery with this one. That's what I intended that for. That's going to last you the whole day of play, right? You're going to take this to HSP or whatever, right? Or Tac City. You guys come here to play, and whatever field you guys go to. I wanted you to be able to have like a battery in here that would last you almost all day, right? The thing I hate the most in terms of airsoft, like, I hate having like those stick or like a smaller 1000 milliamp hour battery and having my battery die within like 3 games, and it just not. Should we plug this into the DSG? Garrett just handed me this. If you guys know, you guys know. It's an ADC. I mean, I don't think this is safe. It's an XT60 for you enlightened minds of tech out there, if you know what that is.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Anyways, the biggest thing my biggest gripe with most casual builds is like you're running 1000 milliamp hour battery and a buffer tube, because the stock on most guns cannot take like a Titan 3000. Like, this is a huge battery, you know. The nice thing is this one specifically will go in most Crane stocks, but there's more to be desired, right? You want more room for the wiring. I want to be able to actually like adjust my stock, right? And not worry about snapping a wire, right? So I put the EPS stock on here for that reason. Another reason with this gun, I did say it is mostly stock. I did pair it with a option number 1 brushless motor. This will be the high torque version, right? So we've got this gun shooting at about 340 and 30 rounds a second with that option number 1 brushless motor. Garrett's holding a Dremel really close to the microphone. Anyways, this has that and a MOSFET that came already pre-installed in the gun and everything. MOSFET paired with the option number 1. If you guys don't know what a brushless motor is, I'm going to go into a quick, kind of brief explanation, if you will. I actually have a motor right on the wall here that is open, so I can actually show you. So this here is like your standard, Chi-Hi DC motor from pretty much any airsoft gun you buy on the market that is powered by a battery will have one of these in it. This is your motor. This is what pulls your gears, fires your gun, right? This is what all the power runs through. So the important thing to note, like I said, this is a traditional DC like brush motor. So you have these motor brushes right here that every time the commutator, all this stuff is spinning, it's rubbing against that. That's creating friction. That's heat. That's carbon buildup, right? If you guys have ever had a high-speed build, right, and opened the motor plate, and after like 3 months and there's a bunch of carbon buildup, that's where all that is coming from. Now, a brushless motor essentially is what it sounds like. You're eliminating the brushes. You're actually going to have a ESC board where all this stuff usually is. So it's basically a motor that has a MOSFET on top of it. Its own like safety MOSFET that's programmed in there. And that MOSFET is actually very intuitive. Brushless motors can easily be damaged if you do something wrong mechanically on the inside of the gun and then try and pull the trigger. So the motor itself will actually stop. It will actually stop you from firing the gun. If you attempt to keep firing it, you'll probably end up pretty much, like I said, frying the electronics that sit at the bottom of the motor. So these motors are actually pretty intuitive. So a lot of people are buying them. They don't generate heat. They have a lot more torque, and that does not come at the cost of speed, right? I can have a 52K Warhead motor. I'd probably have way more torque than like an SHS 16 TPA motor, right? On a brush motor, that just simply wouldn't be possible. So the reasoning behind the option number one in this build was, like I said, I wanted to be casual, but I still wanted you to be able to keep up with, like, or even put up a fight against most high-speed guns out there, right? And you're shooting 30 rounds a second on stock gear ratio out of a VFC. So I mean, that's pretty darn good. I believe the gun itself with the stock motor was only hitting about 23 rounds a second, which is kind of, in my opinion, kind of low. I like a little more than that. If the field limit is 30, I want to push 30. So that's what I was thinking with this gun. But with that option number one and the EPS stock, like I said, with a much bigger battery, you're not going to have any issues with like battery life, right? I stress tested this gun down at our range. So all our custom builds here do go through some generic form of us testing them, right? I don't want to just put a custom build up for sale and have you guys, break it within like the first 500 rounds, right? We're going to break them in, tune them, and make sure they're actually reliable and going to hold up before we actually put them up for sale. So I stress tested this one down on the field, put some rounds through it, and the battery, I didn't have any issues with draining or heat. So
Test fire it.
should I? Heck, I will test fire it. So this will probably be the only time I test fire this on stream. If you guys don't know, you guys can come in and look at these and hold them in person. But yeah, we do prefer that you guys not test fire them
I think it needs to be demonstrated since we
before
did the live
purpose.
stream, though, right?
But for demo purposes, since we are on a live stream, I will test fire this for the sake of demo purposes, just to let you guys hear how it sounds here. So we actually had a Lion. I'm looking for the Lion that paired well with this gun. Where did that Lion go?
There's one on the bench. It might be-
Oh, here it is. Sorry guys, I am just clinically blind. Anyways, so this is wired through Tamiya. I actually thought about switching this to Dean's, don't get me wrong, but we have a pretty big selection of these things right now. This is a Lancer one. We actually don't sell the Lancer one anymore, but they're all the same thing, just different stickers on them. I didn't tell you that, by the way. We have a couple of different brands of these Lions that are 11.1, and they're like 2500 20C 11.1 Lions. I like these. I like how they pair with the brushless motor and its electronics. They're huge. They fit in the stock. And like I said, you're never going to run out of battery on the field. But this is how it sounds. This is semi. So there is a bit of overcycle with this battery because it is a 20C. And we're going to go to full auto here. And it's got the stock MOSFET in there, stock trigger contacts. So you will get like a little reset, right? For all you people that want like a high speed, like super sensitive trigger build, this is not it. I'm going to be blatantly honest. But you can totally make it into one, right? Go pick a MOSFET of your choice, Leviathan, Titan, right? If you do end up purchasing this and you feel like you want to upgrade to that next level, that is something we will gladly do for you. So please pick out a MOSFET, come to us after you have purchased this beauty, and we'll gladly throw that in for you. But I do like having that click and like reset, right? I think there is some skill to just not having your trigger on like a featherweight like sensor and spamming it at a wall for 20 minutes. I totally don't do that. Garrett is looking at me really funny right now, guys. Hibbity hoppity. Anyways, next custom that I'm going to present and probably the last custom on the stream. I will have to step off screen for a second to grab it. So this one's actually deep in progress, hence why I do not have it at the bench as a pre-made setup. So this looks like a mess, don't worry. Hiding under here is a Creations high kappa kit, right? This is a combination of 3Techs, Max, Zach, and me. I ordered these kits for the tech department. How long ago would you say, Garrett?
It might have been about a month at this point.
Yeah, we were scrolling through our distributors kind of page, and this was on this whole kit, which is, the kit itself comes with the frame and the slide and the outer barrel. We were scrolling through, and
They've just been sitting on that site for
Yeah,
such a long time.
these just kind of popped up on like the back page of our distributor's website, and we were like, why not? What's funny is I've seen these before. These have some really nice trades too, actually. I'm gonna get up close personal for you guys, but yeah, these do have some nice trades. Hybrid S&W 40. I don't know if you guys can see it. This camera is not the best at focusing, but it's got some nice trades, and it's got the 2011 trade right on the frame, like an advanced frame. It is
So-
not an advanced frame style though, however.
Is that frame a significant upgrade over stock TM frame
I would say it is. This frame,
due to the material used?
yeah, I believe the material is in itself a upgrade from a stock TM frame.
It should last longer.
You will need your valve knocker housing from either your stock frame or any other frame. Without that housing, it won't work obviously because you won't have like a hammer set. They don't include it for some, I don't know why. They pulled what 9-ball kind of pulled. 9-ball, you need to have that side plate. Well, this one step further. You got to have the housing for your valve knocker too. If you guys don't know what that is the piece inside that actually holds all your firing mechanisms together. So you have the side piece that comes with the kit, but you need the cap that actually lines up with everything and secures your firing mechanism from your stock frame. Anyways, what's funny is this Creations kit kind of caught our eye, and I remember one of the regular players here, Ben Boldman. Some of you guys know him. He plays here a lot on Mondays. He's a good friend of mine. We've been playing together for a couple years, and I remember him having a similar kit from the same company. His kit was the original one with the more aggressive cuts at the front. I don't recall what that kit is actually called, but however, we do have this kit in black and dual tone. The dual tone is in the case over there to my left. That will be up for sale on its own. But we decided to put this together as a custom. It is deep in progress right now. I believe they're doing fitment on the hammer and redoing the housing for better housing, right? This is going to be another high-end, like custom high kappa build, but I expect it to be a hit because you really don't see this aggressive like styling, outside of a WeTech, right? And this is on a TM base, right? It's got a brass hop up in there already. You guys can see the nozzle to bucking seal is quite substantial. It's pretty good. We got a steel hammer set in here, Cheeto hammer from AM. And that's about it. I believe it's still a work in progress in terms of the rest of the parts, tuning and getting it to fire properly. But as soon as we have that running, you guys will know. We'll probably have this posted up on Instagram. I know I have the VFC Avalon posted up on our Instagram at Tac City Airsoft already twice. We're going to definitely post that DSG we talked about today up too. But this is the third custom that we've done this week. Anyways, our time here on stream is drawing to a close. If you are in here, I thank you for joining. Thank you to everybody that did join or does watch the live streams after. We do share the replays. You guys want to go back and find a specific part of it that we talked about, a part or a technique or something that you want to find out about, feel free, right? All our live streams are put in the replay section, and I will add that to the tech playlist as well on YouTube. But anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Join us next week. We're probably going to be going over customer projects next week's stream. We do have some customer projects in that I think you guys might find interesting for next week. We'll probably drop a YouTube video sometime this weekend as well. Gonna find out a kind of topic that you guys have been asking about to make a video on. All right, but outside of that, I really hope that you guys have a good night. If you guys have any questions, please email us at taxcityairsoft.com. I know it's a mouthful. It's in the description. You can call us during field hours. Like I said, ask for the tech department. One of us is always here 7 days a week. So you can ask us any questions that you need.